Hey everyone, welcome back, and thank you for being here. Tonight's story takes us deep into the Appalachian backroads, where a grieving man stops at a gas station that isn't what it seems. Inside, he finds more than just fuel. He finds the truth he's been running from. If you enjoy these kinds of dark, unsettling tales, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now let's get into the story. It was a Tuesday, 2:03 a.m. Black highway stretched thin through the Appalachians, the kind of dark where the sky swallows everything. My tank was bleeding toward empty, my GPS blank, backup phone dead. 13 years driving freight. I'd been lost plenty, but never like this. I was already planning to sleep in the cab until daylight when I saw it, a crooked neon arch, red and green tubes buzzing weak above. A one-story station that wasn't on any map. Just 3 letters, GAS. No brand, no prices. Nothing but 2 pumps in front of a building that looked abandoned 30 years ago. Except pump number 2 was lit. Its display glowed bright, flawless, brand new. A man sat on the porch in a rocking chair, head tilted back toward the tree line. He didn't blink, didn't move. Just sat. I rolled the rig in slow, window cracked. Shouted, "Evening, friend." Nothing. The diesel hose was heavier than it should have been, slick like oil. Still, the pump beeped awake. $0. 0 cents. Ready. My eyes kept flicking to the porch. The man didn't move. That's when I saw her, a barefoot girl in a pale dress, standing by the ice chest. Skin too pale, eyes too wide. She didn't answer when I asked if she needed help, just stared at the pump. I glanced back. The numbers were rolling, gallon after gallon, though I hadn't touched the nozzle. Then my headlights died. My engine coughed once and went silent. Darkness dropped over me like a bag. I dropped the nozzle, turned the key. Nothing. When I looked back, the girl had moved. 5 feet from my cab now, eyes locked on mine. And the man in the rocker? He was still staring into the trees, except the trees were wrong. They weren't swaying together. Each one twisted to its own invisible wind. The girl whispered, soft and sharp, like a voice pressed inside my skull. "You came to feed it." The pump reattached itself, hose coiling into my tank like a snake. Display flickering. 666.6 gallons. Reset. Again. Reset. My rig groaned, metal buckling as if something inside was twisting. I grabbed my crowbar and stepped out. The girl screamed, not human, not animal, but static ripping through my bones. The porch light blinked on. The man's throat was slit wide open long ago. His chair moved only because something behind him rocked it. The road was gone. Nothing but forest, and at the edge of the light, hundreds of outlines watching. Human-shaped. Uniforms stained black. Hanging, not swaying, just waiting. I bolted for the cab. Slammed the door. Key turned. Nothing. Then the radio flared. No music. Just whispers layered over each other, laughing in breaths. One voice rose clear, a woman's voice. "Do you remember the deer, Caleb?" My stomach twisted. Nobody knew about the deer. The one I hit outside Hazard 5 years back. The one I left dying on the shoulder. Its eyes still blinking. The pump outside clicked louder. My fuel gauge dropped below empty. The needle slid into black. I tried the door. Stepped out. The sky wasn't night anymore. It was darker, a lid of shifting shadow. No stars. No moon. The building was gone. The porch, the man, the girl, gone. Only the pump left, glowing perfect in the dark. Its screen blinked. "You don't leave." The gravel split under my boots like something beneath had taken a breath. The pump cracked open, hose splitting. Black liquid poured out, thick and bubbling, stinking of burned meat and copper. It crawled toward me like it wanted to touch. I stumbled back into the cab, slammed the door. This time the engine roared to life like it had never died. I floored it. Tires screamed, fishtailed. The world snapped back. The road was there again. Stars overhead. Cool night air. The dash clock read 2:06 a.m. I didn't stop until Charleston. Daylight bleeding through the windshield. At a real station, with real people. I fueled up, paid, told the clerk I'd gotten lost. He said there was no road open out there. Not since the rock slide in '97. I didn't argue. But later, cleaning the cab, I found a receipt. Not from Charleston. From that first station. August 13th, 1966. Pump number 2. Paid in full. And that's why I don't drive nights anymore. Because I know one day, when the tank runs dry, I'll see that neon sign again. And this time, I won't leave. It was 3:40 in the afternoon when I pulled into the quietest gas station I'd ever seen. 2 pumps, one sagging building with sun-faded ads in the window. Not a car in sight. The lot felt wrong. Even the birds avoided the sky above it. I was halfway out of the state. Halfway gone from the man I should have left years ago. Tank running dry. Stopping wasn't optional. The hills curled around the station like bones. Orange leaves scattered across gravel that never stirred in the still air. That's when I saw him. Tall. Too tall. At least 6 feet 5 inches, standing stiff on the far side of the next pump. Long gray coat hung wrong on him, stiff like cardboard. He wasn't fueling, wasn't smoking, wasn't moving at all. Hands sunk in his pockets. Eyes fixed across the road at nothing. I looked once, then again, then forced myself to look away. A woman alone on the road learns quick not to stare at strangers. I slid my card, started pumping, all the while feeling his presence like a pressure on my ribs. The pump beeped. I yanked the nozzle free. He still hadn't moved. Inside, the air smelled like burnt sugar and pine cleaner. A hunched woman at the register flipped through a People magazine from 2013, pages soft with age. I asked, casual as I could manage, "Is that guy outside okay?" She didn't look up, just muttered, "Which one?" "Tall man. Gray coat." She froze, eyes unfocused, then blinked slow. Soft, almost confused, she whispered, "He's not supposed to come this close." My skin crawled. I asked what she meant. She shook her head like she hadn't realized she'd spoken. Then, "Don't look at him too long, honey. He only notices when you notice." I left my receipt on the counter and walked out fast, heart in my throat. He was still there, exactly where I'd left him, except now he was facing me. Head lifted, chin sharp, eyes black. He didn't walk, didn't speak, just turned, waiting. I didn't run, didn't scream. I slid into my car, locked the doors, drove, hands shaking on the wheel, telling myself he was just a drifter. A coincidence. 2 hours later, I stopped at a big chain station. 10 pumps, a Subway inside. Kids laughing by the ice machine. I felt stupid for being scared. Until I saw him again. Not in person, in reflection. His shape flickered in the chrome side of the pump, standing at the edge of the lot, facing me directly. I spun around. Nothing but cars. But the reflection stayed, dim, like an imprint burned into metal. I cut the pump short, didn't eat, drove into dusk. Heater blasting though I wasn't cold. Radio stations flipping one after another to drown the pressure crawling up my spine. By the time I reached a motel, I was wired and hollow. Deadbolt locked. TV on mute. Lamp buzzing low. I told myself it was over. Just nerves. Just fatigue. Then, brushing my teeth at 10:12 p.m., I looked in the mirror. He was behind me. Not in the room. Not in the air. In the reflection only. Close enough I saw the strange paper-thin texture of his skin, like wet pulp left too long in rain. I spun. Empty room. I locked the bathroom door and sat on the tile floor with a towel wrapped around me. I didn't sleep. I didn't look again. Next day, I drove until my eyes blurred. Stopped for gas only when others were nearby. Sometimes he wasn't there. Sometimes he was. Once, I saw him inside the station itself, between freezer aisles, staring out at me through the glass before vanishing behind a shelf. Another time he stood in a field, coat whipping in a wind I couldn't feel. Always closer. Always still. I stopped pretending it was my imagination the day I mailed a postcard home. In the post office's security mirror, I saw him in the corner, watching me. Not real, not solid, but reflected, persistent. It's been 5 days. I don't sleep unless the lights are on. Even when I drive 60, 70 down the highway, I catch him in the rear view, standing at the shoulder, never moving, waiting for me to notice. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he wants. But I know this. One day I'll blink. And when I open my eyes, he won't be standing anymore. It was just before sunset when I pulled off the winding Appalachian Road and into a gas station that didn't belong. Not old, not haunted, just misplaced, like it had been dropped there by mistake. A too-clean square of white light surrounded by trees pressed in close. No sound but the tires crunching soft gravel. Day 3 of my so-called healing trip. A road escape, that's what I'd called it when people asked. Truth was, I was running from silence. From the house without her voice. From the bed that still smelled like hospital. I told myself the drive would clear my head. All it gave me was this station. The fluorescents inside buzzed sharp and hot, the air too still. The aisles were perfect, every product fronted, no dust, no dents. Expiration dates scrubbed clean, like they'd been cut off with a scalpel. No clerk at the counter. No sound when I opened the door. Only the radio mounted on the wall, replaying the same ad every 30 seconds. A brake repair place 2 towns over. Each time it stuttered on the word discount. I picked up a water bottle. My reflection in the glass cooler door wasn't me now. Gray eyes. Loose beard, face hollowed by grief. It was me then. Younger, beard trimmed, wearing the blue shirt I'd worn to the hospital the week she died. The shirt I'd thrown away. I blinked. Gone. Just me again. But my hands were shaking. The bathroom light flickered, then died. Inside, the air was wet, like a room packed with lungs. The hand dryer screeched with static when I waved at it. No air, just sound drilling through bone. I backed out, heart hammering. The clerk was suddenly at the counter. No door, no footsteps. Just there. Polo shirt. Blank smile. Too young. Need help? He asked. His voice was flat, each word evenly cut, like playback from a recorder. I asked where I could find a motel. He didn't blink. They're all the same distance from here. I stared. He stared back. Smile never shifted. I left cash on the counter and walked out fast. The sky was dark now. Too fast. Too sudden. The shadows around the pumps hadn't moved with the sun. My car sat at pump 2, engine still running, keys in the ignition. I hadn't left it that way. The pump display glowed. Regret. One word. Blinking. Slow, steady, in time with the lights overhead. I slid into the car, hands on the wheel, breath sharp. Told myself I was tired. Just tired. But in the window of the station, the clerk was still there, smiling, watching me with eyes too steady. I twisted the key, slammed the gear shift. Gravel sprayed. I waited for the Miller's Hollow sign 2 miles up. Gone. Instead, the gas station stood ahead again. Only darker now. Its lights guttering, buzzing hard. And parked at the pump, my car. Idling. Keys in the ignition. I braked. Hard. Inside, above the coolers, a wall-mounted screen played security footage. Me, holding the water bottle. The angle was impossible, above my shoulder. As if something hovered there, filming. I drove around back. Tires grinding over glass that hadn't been there before. The rear door hung open. I stepped inside. A hallway stretched far beyond the size of the building. Fluorescent tubes flickering overhead, mirrors lining the walls. Each reflection wrong. One clean-shaven, smiling. One pale, throat cut. One with my wife's eyes in my face. I kept walking. The static swelled, rising. A scream caught in a closed throat. A speaker above crackled. My wife's voice. Tom, just come home. My chest split. She never said that. Not once. At the end, she'd begged me to stay. And I had left. Just an hour. Just for air. She died alone. The hallway dissolved. Only the clerk stood now. In a white space without walls, without doors. His smile was gone. You weren't supposed to remember, he said. Voice still flat, too even. Now it can't end right. I ran. I don't know how. Through a wall, through the dark, through myself. And then I was outside again. Night real, truck real, road real. I drove for hours until the world had weight again. Streetlights, other cars, towns with names. I told myself it was over. Just grief gnawing through my brain. Just a crack in me where she used to be. Until the next stop. Near Asheville. Same station. Same design. Older, cracked. Behind the counter, the same clerk. Older now. Wrinkled. Eyes the same. Need help. He slid me a receipt. On the back, in ink I hadn't seen him write. You came here to forget. You paid in full. I left it on the counter. But when I climbed back in the truck, another slip was already waiting in the cup holder. Blank except for one line in sharp black ink. She isn't here. The radio cut on by itself. Static. Then her laugh. Not bright, not warm, but close enough to slice me open. I kept driving. Hours. Days. Every station I pass now, I slow. Sometimes I stop. Sometimes I don't. Doesn't matter. The station finds me anyway. Each time the clerk is different. Older. Younger. Clean-shaven. Gray. But the eyes are the same. Always the same. And each time, the receipt reads something new. Come home. The house is empty. She waits behind the mirror. I don't know if I ever left her side. Don't know if this road trip started. Or if I've been standing still since the moment she died. All I know is the static doesn't stop. Not in the mirrors. Not in the walls. Not in my head. And one day, I know what the receipt will say. Paid in full. No return.